We're here with Ashish Gandham, Managing Director Global Travel Retail for Suntory Global Spirits, to discover their latest Kogei collection, which is the first release under the new brand name as well. So can you tell us a little bit about the range and the liquid that is in front of us today?
Absolutely. First of all, I'm extremely excited, right? Travel retail is the only market outside of Japan which will have an exclusive range. And it's taken years of practice, experimentation on what kind of craft on our liquid do we really want to showcase for our first exclusive range. We are also doing it on two of our most admired and cherished brands, the Yamazaki and the Hakushu. What I would say is, when you go back to the liquid, you will look at the innovation. We are trying to use malted barley for the first time in Yamazaki. Hakushu has always been a peated whiskey, but the peat has always been a refined version of peat compared to any other whiskey. With that, we are finishing it in a Spanish oak cask, so it's a good balance of peat and the soft sweetness that will linger as an aftertaste. So if you want to...
Yes. And I think you can really see that in the color as well. The coloration is really lovely. And what I found interesting is that you were saying that the different climates of the Yamazaki distillery and the Hakushu distillery really created different flavors in these two whiskeys. And
Absolutely.
how do you think they differ?
We are using the same malted barley.
Yep.
Okay, and the finish is in a Spanish oak cask. So those are consistent facets. So the flavor is so different on these liquids is because of two things. One, the water, and then the distillery's own maturation process and where it is located. So that is what creates the different character of the two whiskies. And if you try those two whiskies, you will see they are absolutely distinct. While they have tried the same, they've used the same basic tenets, the end outcome is so different. It's purely because of, that's the art and science of whiskey making, right?
Let's give it a try.
Let's give it a try.
That is so smooth.
Oh, I love the
Yeah,
whiskey.
this is really delicious.
The first thing you will notice is the peat, but it's not overpowering. It does not fill your mouth. It's lingering there, and now you start to get the sweetness at the back end. These are exceptionally rare and phenomenal liquids, and we hope the consumers actually taste them, they try them, and give us feedback on what else would they like to see from our house of Suntory.
And you know, for us from the travel retail world, we're very excited to see how you're planning to bring this to life in our channel. Can you give us a preview?
The way we are trying to bring this to life, Kogei as a collection is based on the Japanese traditional arts. For the first round, we are using a collaboration with a kimono house, which was set up in 1555. So it talks about authenticity, which is what Suntory's whiskies are known for. It talks about craft and heritage. So all the three facets are integral to the Kogei collection. The way we are going to bring this to life in store, first of all, we'll go to the top locations. That will give our consumers and shoppers the best access, because these travel hubs are where different nationalities come together. In store, we will also try to talk about the elements of whiskey making, but also Kogei and the kimono house. And you look at the box, the packaging, it takes inspiration from the kimonos and the designs and intricate color patterns that are used in those kimonos. So in store, we will try and use a lot of theater. Online, we will try and share more and more about the whiskey, art of whiskey making, and what makes Kogei collection so special. And then our brand ambassador in the store will be able to bring that story to life.
I think it's very interesting as well, because this is going to be the first release since Beam Suntory changed to Suntory Global Spirits. Obviously, let's talk about that. That's a big shift for a spirits house with so much heritage. Can you give us some insight into the thinking behind it and what that means for you as a company today?
It is a momentous occasion. It marks the 10th anniversary of Suntory Holdings acquiring Beaming. It's taken us 10 years, but it was an absolutely deliberate approach. We wanted to bring East meets West together, evolve the culture of the company. It was also Suntory's intent to take the company global, which triggered the acquisition. And now after 10 years, we are confident on the culture that we want to really showcase. We are also then trying to bring the power of one Suntory to life, where we will look at synergies across the group and make sure that we are bringing product expertise, innovation expertise, and understanding of consumers from different categories to the fore through our global brands.
And as a Japanese spirits company, there's a big role that Suntory Global Spirits can play in driving the wider category, not just in travel retail, but around the world. Can you explain that role for us?
Absolutely. Suntory is the founding house of Japanese whiskies. And we do have market leadership globally in the Japanese whiskies and the Japanese spirit space. So we take that position with a sense of responsibility and a deep sense of responsibility. If you think about the regulations that were recently launched or have come into effect, they were actually drafted 3 years back, and the regulations were drafted not just by Suntory as an association in Japanese spirits and winemakers. The reason why they were drafted was when Japanese whiskey started becoming popular, there were a lot of Me Too brands that have cropped up. They have the same characteristics of packaging, so consumers are confused what actually is an authentic Japanese spirit. And sometimes they pick these Me Too brands as Japanese spirits. So it's our duty to protect the consumer from these so-called or Me Too brands. That was the first step, and it's an important step. We need to now take it to our customers. We need to take it to our consumers as well, and that education needs to kickstart. So that's one responsibility. The second thing that we take extremely seriously is the quality of our product. We have to constantly keep evolving, but the quality cannot be compromised at any cost. This is what you see with Kogei. This is exactly what you will see with any of our innovation. Even our entry-level price point in the Japanese whiskey space, which is Toki, which is going to become a massive priority for us because we want to take Japanese whiskey and make it accessible to a wider audience, to our consumers across the world. The quality of Toki, it's a blend of Chita, Hakushu, and Yamazaki.
Wow,
Yeah?
that's going to be insane.
It is absolutely fantastic liquid. It is great liquid for a highball. It is great liquid for mixing or just sipping straight. But the quality is something that we hold absolutely dear. So that's one. The second thing, we do everything that we do in harmony with nature. So nature and what we do in a sustainable way is inherent in our DNA as a company. So if we are creating more and more demand for Japanese whiskey and will produce more, it has to be done with the right balance in nature. And then the impact on communities. So our responsibility is not just to Japanese whiskeys and Japanese spirit, it extends to the entire community that's involved, and it extends to the entire industry and hence the consumer as well.
And I think that responsibility, we've seen that come to life in so many different ways. And obviously, Suntory Global Spirits is an over 100-year-old company, and you just celebrated that milestone. This is the first launch since that, big milestone celebration for you. What do you think the next 100 years hold?
I think this launch also signifies what was so special about the previous 100 years. The important thing is those 100 years have been characterized by a couple of things. One, entrepreneurial zest, but constant improvement. The Kaizen mindset has to be integral to how we operate. Continue to shape, continue to improve our own offering. Don't rest on the laurels. So for the next 100 years, that's going to be the consistent theme. We will continue to innovate, bring the craftsmanship. We will be authentic in what we do. We will use our legacy and heritage as a pillar of strength, but constantly pushing the limits and boundaries. On the Yamazaki, for example, we are looking at a peated malt being used in the Yamazaki. Typically, Yamazaki doesn't use a peated malt. So that in itself is a key element of showing we can experiment, we can try different things. We are not just going to stick to the same formula that works. It's not a formula approach. The consistent mindset of improving every day, go back to the consumers, understand what they are looking for. So we call it, there's a term that we use in Suntory called Gemba.
Gemba.
Gemba means getting close to the consumer, getting close to the point of consumption, getting close to the point of sales. So getting close to the consumer, the customer, and again, I take it back to the community. The 3 C's are super important for us. So again, the community and the impact on the community, what are we taking back to the overall wider community that we operate in?
Well, I, for one, can't wait to see how this Gemba will transform in the next 100 years. Thank you so much, Ashish, and thank you for watching.